Welcome back to Ebioscope with me, Mary Kate Masile, and thank you so much for tuning into the channel. Now, if you're new to the channel, please do not forget to like and subscribe and comment it down below. Tell me what you think about the vlog. So today we'll be talking to Firdoze, who's responsible of the ZIF, which is Zanzibar International Film Festival, which will be happening in a couple of weeks. The reason being we're interested in that film festival is because there are a lot of South African films which are featured there, like Someone to Blame, Deep End, Five Fingers for Masiles, like a lot of South African films which will be featured in there. So we'll be talking about that and so much more, which will be happening in the 2019 program. So first off, let's say hi to Firdoze. Thank you so much for being part of the show. We truly appreciate it. My first question for you, can you please tell us about yourself and how did you become part of Zanzibar International Film Festival?
Hello, my name is Firdoze Bulbulia and I am an independent filmmaker, producer and theatre director. I am also responsible for the Zanzibar International Film Festival, which takes place this year between the 6th and the 14th of July. I first went to Zanzibar in 1999 as we went to do some training around children and broadcasting. As the Children and Broadcasting Foundation for Africa, we had just gotten the Africa Charter on Children's Broadcasting ratified by most of the African broadcasters. Our work was really in terms of trying to find out what was happening on the continent in terms of quality media for African children. And in writing up the broadcasting charter, we wanted all broadcasters to sign this charter in Africa. And the article number 4, which is the most important for us, was children should hear, see and express themselves, their languages and their life's experiences through the electronic media that reaffirms their sense of self, community and place. And with this in mind, we also produced the African Pen Pals, which was a series of short films, 15 minutes each, that spoke to children across the continent from north, south, east, west. With the Africa Pen Pal series, we went to Nigeria, Kenya, Egypt, South Africa, and we really wanted to talk about quality media for African children, but we wanted to show African children in the same light as their counterparts around the world. So we were saying that children around the world have the same ambition, the same concerns, and through the series, which was called African Pen Pals, it was as if each of these children wrote to a friend from another country and told them a little bit about who they are, where they went to school, where they lived, what was interesting for them, their hopes and dreams and aspirations. And so when we went to Tanzania, where two of the children came from, this lovely little girl from Zanzibar spoke about her ambition to be a runner, about her ambition as a young child growing up within the culture of East Africa. It was really a phenomenal, wonderful opportunity to get a window into that world. And so Zanzibar has a very special place in my heart. I tend to go back all the time for the festival. And last year, the festival celebrated 21 years. As part of that celebration, we took to the festival the Nelson Mandela Children's Film Festival, which we had inaugurated for Nelson Mandela's 100 years. It was a wonderful opportunity to engage with young people around Madiba as the icon, but also around issues that were pertinent to them. So whilst in Zanzibar, we had spoken to the board of the Zanzibar International Film Festival, and we had together decided that maybe it was an opportunity now, 21 years later, for the 22nd event, that we should try to assist. And so in October last year, Faith Isiak Pere and myself, Firdoze Bulbulia, agreed to be the festival director and CEO of ZIF 2019.
Guys, by the way, I forgot to mention that Firdoze will be traveling to Europe, so you will see her moving from one place to the next in the background. So don't mind about that. And my next question for her is, can you please tell us about the preparations for Zanzibar International Film Festival and the master classes that will be happening there? I have heard that there will be a South African Day, Super Hostics, and Yvonne Chaka Chaka will be there. So can you please highlight what will be happening?
In preparation for this amazing festival, we received 3,400 film submissions, and it took us several months, as you can imagine, to go through and plow through all of the wonderful content that we received. We had 26 jury selected from around the world, from each region of the world, so that we would have a diversity of voices and opinion in terms of the quality of films that we received, the content that was required, and how we thought the Zanzibar International Film Festival for 2019 should shape up. We have several important filmmakers attending, and we have a wonderful partnership with the National Film and Video Foundation in South Africa, as well as the KwaZulu-Natal Film Commission and the Department of Arts and Culture, and hopefully the Film and Publications Board and the Gauteng Film Commission. What we are doing on the 8th of July is a South African Day, where we will have Yvonne Chaka Chaka and Super Hot Sticks participating in workshops, in presentations, and in interaction with the young people. We also have Alvin Ross, the American musician and composer, who will be doing a workshop on composing music for film, because as we always know, many people just take film and after they've produced it, they think about the music a little bit too late, and then either they just, ask a friend to produce something, or they take music that is almost free and they don't have to pay royalty. What we want to do is to encourage young people, young filmmakers, to realize that music is part of the storytelling, that they must ensure that the quality of music and the content is close to the story. And so Alvin Ross will be hosting that workshop. He's currently working on the Mnet Multi-Choice Talent campaign right now. So this is a really exciting opportunity for filmmakers in East Africa to have a workshop stroke masterclass with Alvin Ross. We will also be celebrating 80 years of African animation, and so Dr. Mohammed Ghazala, who has produced some significant work in that area, will be presenting 80 years, and he will also be doing a training on animation, how to produce animation from an African perspective. So we're really excited about that.
Zanzibar is a beautiful place, great for tourism. So I would like to know, how has Zanzibar International Film Festival contributed to the tourism that side?
So I'm on my way to Scotland for a conference on children and media. However, I want to continue with the conversation we had around ZIF. And so the the Zanzibar International Film Festival really brings many tourists to Zanzibar. I'm told that there's about 12,000 tourists who come, and then 9,000 locals. So there seems to be a large number of people coming from out of town to be part of the Zanzibar International Film Festival. This would include filmmakers, producers, people in the industry, but also people who come to visit the island and have learned that during this period in July there is this festival. So some of them are recurring visitors, they come back and forth, and others just because they're on holiday and they're on the island and they're in Stone Town, they find out about the festival, and so they then do come to the festival. So tourism has definitely increased because of the Zanzibar International Film Festival.
My next question for you is, how do you guys decide which movie will be the opening and which one will be the closing, since it's a great honor for any filmmaker to be part of?
So in terms of selecting the best films for the festival, as we said before, there were 3,400 submissions, and these are from short films, animations, features, documentaries, some experimental, a host of different kinds of films. There was a selection jury of about 26 people globally, and after that it was shortlisted, and then we had a smaller jury to view the selected films, and now we have a third jury who are the finalist juries, and we have the final films. There are 13 feature films. I think 10 documentaries and about 21 shorts, which includes animation films. The choice of the opening film is always an important one, but we wanted to resonate with the people of Zanzibar, the local people, local culture, and so we're very excited that the film we have this year is from East Africa. It's an interesting film around relationships and romance, almost a kind of Romeo and Juliet, I suppose one would think of in terms of the Western concept of that kind of romance, but a beautiful film and gives you a window into the world of young people growing up in East Africa. The closing film is a film from Yemen. Because Zanzibar is the festival of the Dhow countries, we try to focus on the Dhow and Pan-African countries, and so the closing film is a film from Yemen.
I know there are a lot of filmmakers who are interested and are hopeful to be part of the Zanzibar International Film Festival in the future. So can we talk about the criteria for entries? What are you guys looking at or looking for?
So the criteria is that the films have to be from the Dhow countries and from Pan-African countries. We also look at the diaspora, and our focus really this year has been to give voice, particularly to filmmakers from East Africa and then the rest of the African continent and the Dhow countries. And the choices have been varied and wide, and it's been from, the normal genre of romantic storytelling all the way to experimental, really fun, different ways of telling stories. And it's wonderful to see how things are changing within the African filmmaking processes. I think storytelling has become such a universal theme and a way of telling that with many people, they kind of say, if you hone into an African story, what kind of a story is that? And then how different is it to other countries or other regions, whether it's Europe or the US. I think there is a peculiarity around African ways of telling stories, but what has come up that has been interesting is that the young filmmakers are not boxed into any style, into any genre. They are experimenting just as all people are throughout the world in terms of the creative industries.
New Trend Alert is actually happening right now. Young filmmakers are uploading their films into social media platforms like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. It's a great way for them to actually market their films. How do you see this trend affecting film festivals in the future?
And so for the final question around films that are made for television, or films that are made for the cinema, theatre, or films that are made for YouTube and social media. I think there's a huge difference between all of it, but the convergence has been definite and quite striding and shocking for many people. For us as a film festival, I think the magic of film will always be there, and one wants to sit and watch it with other people, so it's not narrowcast in a little screen, but that it is shown on a big screen, and if possible with the correct sound and imagery and post-production and the value that I don't think is always possible with the kind of short social media film. Films are also what you define. It's up to you as a filmmaker to decide what that is, and I think that the audience is changing. The currency around filmmaking and storytelling has changed dramatically with the Netflix and other online and streaming availabilities. Things have changed quite a bit, so how people view and what they view and when they view it is all really in the palm of their hand, literally. So as a film festival, what we offer would be your feature length, your really high quality content, but I think there's also place for the smaller films, for the storytelling, for the agitation, for the activism, for the kinds of stories that need to be told without huge cameras and the best costume and so forth.
Well, that's the scoop on Zanzibar International Film Festival. Thank you so much to Firdoze for being part of the vlog. She gave us the scoop on how actually film festivals actually do work. If you have any other questions that you would be interested in, please comment down below. Tell me what you think, what's in your mind, and yeah, tell me what you think about the show. Since we're going through our new look, I'm more visible right now. Thank you so much for being part of the show, and I'll see you next time.